So once again, here we are. Chris from Cell Art's going to do another show review. This one was on November 12th in Seattle. The Unique Legion Tour. Crown Magnetar, Extermination Dismemberment, Extortionist, Atoll, and Dark Watch. So Dark Watch was the local kind of super group in Seattle. This is probably not going to go over well, but I just don't get them. I have nothing against the people in it, obviously, but I just don't get them. So I guess they're kind of like, let me see. I guess they're deathcore. I don't know. They're not like insanely deathcore, but whatever that means. Anyway, they just have weird time signatures and kind of breakdowns and things that just don't work for me. So the crowd usually loves them. They put on a good show. But I think that it's going to be a really select group of people who take something from that as opposed to like the general audience. But I could be wrong. Just in my experience, I think I've seen them twice now, maybe 3 times. There are people there who want to see Dark Watch, and then there are a few people who enjoy, even if they don't know the band. But I don't know. It's a weird contrast because the band does well on stage, and they create music that people like, and they're knowledgeable musicians. Many of them work at venues, but just for me, Dark Watch doesn't work. So. Next up is Atoll, and I really like these guys. Fun death metal, funny death metal, as most of it is. Not most, but you know what I mean. Really good shit. The first time I saw them, they blew me away. They delivered equally as well this time around. So if you haven't seen Atoll yet, make it a point to see them. You're going to like their energy. You're going to like the kind of comedy that they bring with them. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I'm wearing their sweatpants right now, so that lets you know just how good I think they are. Extortionist was up next. Didn't know them at all. Kind of a power violence, like hardcore power violence type band. I don't know. They have a kind of unique sound. I guess they're closest to power violence, but they were a hard band for me as well. Again, just some of the timing and things. And I think that the crowd that was there this night was looking more for like the deathcore type of thing. A lot of slam. And Extortionist offered other things as well as some of that. So I'm sure they have a good fan base, but I think the crowd in Seattle that night didn't gravitate toward them as much. Extermination Dismemberment was the main supporting act. Really interesting, brutal death from Belarus over in Eastern Europe. But they brought some of that kind of European pop to them, kind of positive attitude, high energy. So it was a real interesting dynamic. They even had one song that was kind of dancey, which, brutal death is sexy, but they were really cool. I thought that they had a lot of potential, so I'd like to see them again to be sure. And they had some cool like vest on with patches that like represented, different elements of the band or their characters. But definitely something cool. So if you like slammy, brutal death, this band would be for you. And last but not least, Crown Magnetar, right? Pretty intense band. I got to see them not too long ago with Enterprise Earth. And they're deathcore. And again, I'm not a deathcore fan, but these guys, they offer an intensity that is enjoyable. So it's one of those things where I wouldn't go to see them on my own, but when they have a good lineup or something along along those lines. I enjoy seeing them, and I think, though, the crowds that are going to see them are really into it. I think, fans that don't know them, if they like deathcore, they'll be pretty happy. But you never know. These are bands kind of really now getting to explore more of a mainstream presence in metal. There's some big deathcore names, obviously, but there are these other bands kind of making their emergence as well. So, all in all, it was a really musically interesting lineup. Different elements of the crowd were engaged at different times. I think that there was a lot here to offer, but I think that this was one of those things where it was going to be hard for people to like every band. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Sometimes I think it's good to have a more challenging engagement. And I do believe that if you're going to go to this show, unless you absolutely hate one of the bands, stay for all of them, watch them, check them out. And I guess last note on the show is there was kind of a bro mentality in the pit, and the floor is a little wet. Try to dry it up as much as you can, but some of the guys in there were going absurdly hard, and they were absolutely like leveling much smaller people. And yeah, it's the pit, but the concept of the pit isn't to just hurt people mindlessly, right? So it was a disappointing crowd in that regard, because some people were clearly going out of their way just to hurt others, and people were getting kind of thrown around recklessly. So just something to keep in mind, right? Metal is supposed to be a safe place to engage emotions. Hardcore, any of these extreme, heavy, loud, you're supposed to have a safe place to get this stuff out. And I think in the US, we're still attaching that tough guy mentality to a lot of it, which is gross. So you want to be a tough guy, you want to fight, there are avenues for that. Respect and care for the people who go to the shows with you. But, I know not everybody feels that way. So anyway, until next time, until next time.